Yeah. Although I guess this will like be archived at some point. So fuck it. I'm Mack.
I'm Jax.
Together we form a reverend squad.
Of Mack and Jax.
Yeah.
Math is theft.
Have I told you where that comes from for me?
No, you haven't.
There's a Seattle beer called Mack and Jack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so much like that beer, we are smooth and we'll fuck you up.
Damn right.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, I spent 90 minutes trying to figure this out, so I'm not in makeup. And I also don't look like an angel like you do.
I look terribly backlit, so I don't want to hear the whole like angel thing.
No.
I have a galaxy pillow though, which is pretty rad.
Oh, nice. Well, see, that just adds to the fucking cosmicness of you. So yeah, I don't know.
Here I am.
Yep. And then yeah, here's my fucking office where everything is in boxes because I learned to live in boxes like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all books and shit. I actually have a fucking like indie like museum basically in this fucking office.
Oh, nice.
Of shit that's like 10, 12, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, Paul Tevis reminded me that Penny for My Thoughts is 10 years old this I think this month.
Oh no.
Right? It's like my baby is old enough to drink in Indieland.
Yeah. And like Sorcerer is something.
I think Sorcerer is probably 500 years old at this point.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
It's fucking
well, Sorcerer came. What year did Sorcerer come out in? Do you remember?
No, it came out after I became an indie kid. Like it was a thing, and I became an indie kid in like 6, 5, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it's been out for, I would say, probably out for 15 years. Longer because of like that period where Ron had it as like HTML on a site.
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking like
I was born in 92. So
it was out before then, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like a baby compared to me. Well, that's why you're my
a small bab.
Yep, small bab. Small bab, big fire.
Hi, Ian. Ian says Jax is a wee babby.
Wee babby. That's so we had a question, but we had just one question somewhere.
What was the question?
That was my delay tactic to have to search my Facebook to find the question that Dee Dee put in.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I only caught the one question from from us. So which means that most of this time is going to be answering fictitious questions, I think.
I love fictitious questions.
Right?
They're my favorite.
Right? I think we can probably warm up with that, some fictitious questions. Technically, there is some sort of chat thing.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
which is where I saw Ian calling me a wee babby.
Yeah, so there we go. I see a top chat and everything. Nice.
Oh.
So yeah, cool. So while I'm at some point look up an actual question we got, do you have a fictitious question?
So Ryan, what is not theft?
What was that?
What is not theft? We know property is theft, and we know math
is
theft.
What is not theft? Okay. All right. So property is theft, and also theft is property. Which was cute until I realized that that's actually how colonialism works.
Yep.
So what is not theft? I'm gonna say proper kink is not theft.
Really?
It's consensual. I mean, super proper, not theft. It's other things.
Okay. Kink might not be theft, but I'm pretty sure kinky people wouldn't know good media if it crawled up their legs and blew them.
Well, I think that there are kinky people who would know what good media is.
I've just been going on a tear about the story of O and Secretary for the past couple of days.
No. Listen, I didn't say there's a lot of us. Okay, I'm not saying.
I've just seen so many people who are like, wow, Secretary is so much better than 50 Shades of Grey. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's literally 50 Shades of Grey without the Twilight Association. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I would say that it's not, but it's like, it's that thing that, like you look at shit like that and think like that is actually some people's actual relationship with kink. Like people can be all like 50 Shades is abuse and etc. And it is, right? Like that's some fucked up shit. But like that is also legitimately some people's relationship with kink, and you can't really deny that. Like you can't say that is not real kink or whatever, because that is
it absolutely is.
People for whom that is their actual lived fucked up experience.
Yep. Also, Story of O is just bad.
Yeah, I vaguely fucking remember that. It's so there, like the not all those versions that are not the shit that would never actually make a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like Gomez and Morticia Adams kink is not theft.
That is correct.
So how about that?
Okay, I like that. I just like weird kink that romanticizes consent.
Right.
Like, that's never in fucking kink porn, is it's always get underneath. Like, no, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't like want to see degradation of another person.
If like I understand that's some people's kink, but
I mean, like, yeah, I like NMK, right? But like, if I wanted that, what I do is I go onto Twitter.
Yep.
And I don't do that very often anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do have an actual question.
Yeah. I was. I think that at some point I'll find the other question from Dee Dee. But yeah, well, why don't you ask your partner's question?
So Ian wants to know, when are we gonna collab on some indie darling game?
It's funny that you mentioned that, Ian. Shall we brainstorm this random idea that I threw at you, and you're like,
why don't you start?
All right. So, all right. Well, I'm going to start about my love, and then you talk about your love, and somehow we'll make them kiss or be repulsed.
I like it.
We both.
Okay.
So I have a love of high-octane media. Everybody who knows me even a little bit knows that I'm a Fast and the Furious scholar. I don't use that term lightly. I actually study the fucking series. And my love from it comes not just from the sense of there's a strange sense of presence that those films have, where they don't understand that they are not realistic people. Like there's the sense where in especially in the Fast and the Furious franchise, which is once they get up to once they actually get into their full car wizard form, which is partway through the fourth movie, they're just this unbelievable, like amazingly diverse ensemble cast of people who don't realize they're fucking superheroes. They just they live their lives wanting to have like a Corona and hang out with family and also do crime for money, but shit happens. And their lives are just, they're never entirely bewildered by the fact that like Rio de Janeiro crime lords that own the police are after them. Like there's no point in which these people feel like their lives are ridiculous. There's no point in which they realize that they disobey the laws of physics. They just have this strange sense of adrenaline fueled subculture that is oblivious to the real world, and somehow the real world flows around them. Like I wrote a post a long time ago where it's basically technocratic.
Ian says The Fast and the Furious is a documentary. Fight me.
Yeah, exactly. But it's technocratic vulgar magic. Like if you think about that, like all this fucking, like, I mean, being like a fucking like Mage the Ascension kid, like that, between like that and like I wrote about how Fringe, like I fucking broke down Fringe, but that's obvious, right? But everyone's like, what does technocratic vulgar magic look like? I'm like, jump out of fucking car and land and be like there's one fucking line.
Drive your car straight up a fucking wall.
Right. There's one line in 6 that I love. Okay. Which is, how did you know that car would break or fall? They are tumbling off of, I believe, a tank that is falling off of an elevated freeway, and they land on a windshield, that the windshield breaks. And then like Letty says to Dom, how did you know the car would break or fall? And she's not saying that like, how do you know we survived, but like, how do you know there would be a car there?
Jesus.
To break our fall. Like that is the sort of thing where they live these lives and they talk about shit like, I want to, like, with this several $1 million I have, I just want to open a garage for people so they don't get screwed over by mechanics. Like, and that's when, like, shit like that, like, I just want to chill. Like, there's a couple of people who just want to chill, want to have, like, their Coronas with family and their fucking barbecues and, like, hang out and, like, do their, like, little, like, race nights and shit with, like, all their friends. And that's where I thought about your love. So that's my love of this ridiculous thing.
Fucking love honobono and slice of life. For those of you who are in chat, I believe it's just Ian right now, but that's okay, because I'm going to explain it. Honobono is Japanese for heartwarming, and it refers to the sort of Ghibli-esque style of media, the slice of life, low conflict, usually pastoral, but sometimes urban, like, just chill and happy and non-violent media about people and their relationships. And it's nice. And if you ever, like, I am not a scholar of Ghibli films, like Ryan is a scholar of the Fast and the Furious. But, like, think of an experience that reminds you of something like Kiki's Delivery Service, or My Neighbor Totoro, or, like, Spirited Away as a little more dramatic, but it's still in the same sort of vein of things.
And you play a bunch of honobono games.
I do.
So let's talk about the various types of honobono interactive media that you're into.
So the first ever honobono game I was introduced to was a Japanese import game called Golden Sky Stories, which is deliberately a very small magical realism setting where you play animals that are trying to take care of people's whims. And it's great. And technically you can play with dice, but I have never played a game of Golden Sky Stories with dice. Ever. And you're giving me a look.
Oh, no. I was trying to remember the one time I played Golden Sky Stories, and I was trying to remember if we used dice or not. I don't recall that being. If we had, I don't recall it.
Yeah, if it was run by Rochelle Shelkey, you probably did not use dice.
It was Rach's. Yeah, that was so much. Oh, that hit my heart so hard.
I ran a game where there was a lesbian bus driver whose mom was trying to hook her up with the lighthouse keeper, except she had a girlfriend in college. And her mom knew that, so they had to deal. Oh, and the woman at the lace shop was also in love with the lighthouse keeper, and the lighthouse keeper had no idea what was going on, so they had to hook up the woman at the lace shop with the lighthouse keeper, get the bus driver to see her girlfriend, and then talk to the bus driver's mother about why she didn't want the bus driver dating someone who wasn't the lighthouse keeper. And it turned out it wasn't that her mom objected to the lesbianism. It was that her mom objected to someone in the big city dating her daughter who drove the bus during the summers.
Mm.
And it was all very sweet and heartwarming.
Nice. Yeah. I remember we did a play test of some of the henge that some of, like, the expansion henge.
Mm-hmm. Henge, for those of you watching, are animal spirits, shape-shifting animal spirits.
It is spelled henge, and very emphatically said it's not pronounced henge.
It's henge.
And I forget. There were some interesting ones. I forget what I played. But
I want to play the sheep one at some point.
Oh, I think that might have been what I did.
Was it? They're so fluffy.
Yeah. I think I played the sheep one. Oh yeah, because I think I made people fall asleep. Yeah, yep. I think that might have been it. Because I'm like, I did something and it was amazing and I fucking loved it. And it was a moment in time that like sort of further cemented my adoration of Rach.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah, especially as like I want to like engage more in this honobono. But like so there's Golden Sky Stories, which is great, and is also available at drive-thru and shit. So I don't know,
buy it. It's real good.
Yeah, and it's like amazing art. Like it's the sort of heartwarming
anime art. It's little chibis.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I really want to play like because one of the henge you can play is a bird, and I just want to play a cockatoo henge.
Yeah, you would be that. Yeah, you.
I am here to fix your problems.
So what you're saying is you want to play yourself.
But Jax, what are you role playing?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think you'd be role playing because you basically would be the excuse to never be subdued.
That is correct.
Yeah, you would be role playing id.
Just like wah!
but like a kind, benevolent id or something.
From which we get the henge yokai.
So what henge would I be then?
The tanuki.
All right, what is that?
That's the raccoon dog with the big balls.
Okay. Why would I be a tanuki? Aside from the fact that Mario would wear my skin in Mario 3.
I thought the big balls implied it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that like that was it. I mean,
yeah,
that fair. The big balls implied it is currently, I think, the watch phrase for the stream.
Hey,
go you, Jax.
I'm so good at this.
Yeah. So we have the sort of the basic understanding of honobono. You have other media that you have like other sort of honobono stuff. Like
I mean, I've written honobono games. I'm not super familiar with any other.
To your writing as well. But since you brought it up, I want you to tell me about your love of making honobono games.
I fucking love making squishy little games to make you feel stuff. I actually have a cyberpunk honobono game.
Yeah, that one. I'm excited to see what you can do with it because I remember reading that.
Nudes, which was the banner image was actually designed by Ian for that. But it's a cyberpunk honobono game about a ramen shop, and you can either play the staff, who retain the same characters throughout most of the game unless they go on a smoke break, or what Hamish Cameron referred to once as cyberfucks, which are the main characters of any cyberpunk anything.
Yeah.
And basically there's no combat because if somebody starts to get aggressive, the staff can throw them out. And that is the combat mechanic. And if you get thrown out, you have to play another character.
You have no choice. You're always going to get thrown out.
Yep. If you start getting aggressive with someone, you're going to get thrown out of the ramen shop.
Yeah, not in my shop.
No.
So yeah, no, that one you've got actually a bunch of interesting cyberpunk stuff that you play with.
Yeah, so the thing is that's weird about cyberpunk is there's so much you could do with it, but there's a lot of it, and I'm not going to say all of it because there is a lot of cyberpunk that's been written by women and non-binary people and people of color, but there's so much of it that's been written by white men who are just mad about stuff. And it's always the brooding anti-hero who's set apart from the world and travels in the space between corporations and thinks life is cheap and blah, 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 and I'm bored with that.
Right.
There's, canonically, in any cyberpunk game, there's several billion other people you could be interacting with or seeing, but you never get to because we're always focused on the brooding anti-hero.
You have opinions.
So I'm trying to get past that.
I don't know. Have I talked to you about my sort of where I hook into cyberpunk? Because I've written a couple settings.
No, tell me where you jack into cyberpunk.
All right. I grew up moving around a lot because my grandfather was in tech. And so the like cyberpunk migrant worker is something that sort of like that I identify with.
Mm-hmm.
So the two settings that I wrote one for tech noir, and I wrote a cyberpunk setting in Hillfolk. That's also my love letter to Stargate SG-1.
I'm going to pause you super fast because Ian wants to point out that Send Nudes' logo was inspired by the Fish Dog Noodle Shack from Mass Effect, which it was.
Oh, Mass Effect.
Yep.
So yeah, so like the fact that I sort of like grew up wandering around, sort of made me think about how, like, not so much that the life is cheap thing side of it, but the like,
there's no permanence.
Yeah. If you're static, you're fucked. But the expense of relocating, you're fucked. So like, no matter what, you're fucked. And so the idea behind, particularly the one I wrote in Hillfolk called Tesseract, Wyoming, comes from me driving through Wyoming, and the line of like, I need to go back to LA. Wyoming's too expensive. Hit my head. Around the same time that Robin asked me to make a setting for Hillfolk. So I basically wrote how the Stargate program exists specifically for off-world mining. And there's only so many permits you can get for off-world mining, but there's lots of migrants in there. So there's a lot of politics around who do you have to basically owe in order to get work.
Oh, geez.
And so it's that sense of like, that to me is cyberpunk, is people have this institutional power over you, like technocracies have institutional power over you, and you still got to eat ramen.
Yep.
How do you do that?
You loaded 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
Yeah, pretty much. That's that song.
I want my tech remix of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I will. I want the dubstep of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be like you got 16 gigs or something like that. Like it would be like there'd be some sort of like re-up in there that would also annoy people who are purists, which would.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know so many fucking purists in the swing scene, and I'm just like, Jesus, you don't have to keep listening to 20 swing dance. You can swing dance to electro swing. You don't have to be a dick.
Yep. The purity culture can eat a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, which I think would violate purity culture. So that's why I'm funny. Not in that moment, but I promise I'm funny. So yes, you also play like Stardew Valley and shit. So
I do, yes. Yeah. And like my time at Porsche and Animal Crossing, and there's so much like digital honobono media, and I wish I'm really sort of pushing tabletop to catch up.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thought that I had, is like, what is that slice of life, that sort of peacefulness, or that mundanity, like celebrated mundanity, as maybe a way to put it. I don't know. Look like in a world of high octane.
I'm gonna let you start with that.
All right. Well, I think there's a little bit where like you could take the Send Noobs. Was it? Oh yeah, Send Nudes. That's it, because it's noodles. Yeah. Send Nudes approach, but I'm sort of thinking about like how like these are characters that at times really they claim that they want a nice life,
right?
And I believe that they genuinely do, but just accept that their lives have chaos in them. So like the idea of what is that slice of life for people who, for whom melodrama is actually their language. Because like it's like me. Like, yeah, it's that sort of vibe. Like this is like what does it look like? Because there's one bit in at the end of 6 or no, at the end of 7, where one of the main characters gets their memory back of loving another main character, and it turns out that they were secretly married the whole time. Like they retconned the fact that they were married. Like in the other 6 movies, they were not married. But clearly, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we secretly got married at the end of 7. We had been married for like 2 movies, 3 movies, 3.5
okay.
movies. Yeah. And there's like, and she's like, why didn't you tell me we were married? It's like, you can't tell someone that you love them, or that you can't tell someone that they love you. And it's like, no, that's actually literally how you have to get your memory back if you're a car wizard. You cannot get it back through mundane means. And these people just live their lives like this is natural.
Right.
And so like they're not exciting people, but they are people for whom excitement orbits them. I mean, they're exciting people, but they don't seek it in the way that like other media is like, look at me in my car, rah. And the Fast and Furious starts with, I'm in a lot of debt and I'm an ex-con, so I steal cars for a living. Oh hey, here's this like undercover cop who is into my sister, and family drama happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
see, I was thinking when you said more high-octane honobono, what I was thinking is like when you mentioned earlier of I have several $1 million and I want to start a garage.
Yeah.
So this actually sort of reminds me of a store that used to be in Lewis, which is the oldest city in Delaware. And unfortunately, the store has now gone out of business, which is a fucking tragedy, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. The store was called Guy Stuff, and it had a subtitle, which was Ladies Welcome. And it was these 2 dudes who used to be mechanics and engineers, and they just decided, you know what, we're going to set up a thrift shop for men, because all of the consignment and thrift stores around here are for ladies, and we want to set up a shop for dudes. And you'd expect it would be sort of like weird, toxic masculinity and whatever, but they also fixed and sold jewelry.
Okay.
And they also, like, when they said guys, they didn't mean like hetero cis guys. I've seen trans people in there and they're just chill with them too. It's like it was a very positive masculine space.
Okay.
Like, it's this sort of idealized masculine space where you're in the garage fixing bikes with your dad on a hot summer day sort of space.
That supportive masculine space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of vibe I'm sort of thinking for high-octane honobono.
There's a bit that, like due to the nature of the medium, it gets really problematic, particularly with regards to like objectifying women. Given the nature of the cast, it is like otherwise like really diverse, so it doesn't have that sort of sense of problematic.
Right.
There's a great story I have. It's like as a sort of sidebar. It's one of the reasons I love this series. I love the people in it. Michelle Rodriguez, as I understand the story, Michelle Rodriguez was doing like a promo tour, was like on a radio station talking about stuff, and she ended up like having a sidebar talking about like interesting like new media and things, sort of like promoting like what people were creating. And one of the host was like, and speaking of interesting new, celebrating new media, the 7th Fast and the Furious movie, and she basically stopped that moment and was like, do you see how like racially diverse this cast is? There's one white guy. You want to crap on this movie, go ahead, but like look at what it's actually doing. And I love Michelle Rodriguez. She's just like absolute like amazing ferocity. But they get like pretty like problematic with women. And then in the 7th one, which is late, but it still happens, they address that a little bit by the 2 of the characters really being into like the hot hacker character that they rescue. And they're both like, they're playing the like, no, she's mine, I've got dibs, whatever, while they're talking. And Michelle Rodriguez's character just kind of comes up and gives them a lot of shit for being assholes. And at the end of the movie,
and then she makes out with the hot hacker.
I wish that would be amazing. But at the end of the movie, both of them are coming up and be like, we both like you. You choose one of us. And then she says, what's my last name? They don't know. She walks the fuck away.
Nice.
Yeah. And like that sort of sense of just like, you know, like y'all might have some like sense of smoothness or whatever within like that's weird thing of like, yes, you are car wizards, so like people will fawn over you, but like when it counts in this moment, what with the message that that viewers who are embracing the media like for its surface value get that message, right? And so like when you're talking about like sort of like that like supportive masculinity element is also makes me think about how um they push that obviously like male gaze thing, and they still fucking do it because it is it's the Fast and the Furious car culture bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do it, but the fact that they also push on like, hey, also perhaps women are people.
Consider.
Yeah, consider that perhaps learning the last name of someone might actually progress in getting you what you want, and also possibly you may accidentally humanize that person.
Yeah, maybe consider humanizing people before getting what you want.
Yeah. Well, I feel like to sarcastically say baby steps. Anyway, so now that
Ian said a little bit ago, just sitting in the garage tinkering with prosthetic arms with your dad.
Yeah, right.
I think that's cute.
Then you get to throw in that Furiosa shit.
Yep.
Which is the iconic car wizard from Katanas and Trenchcoats. Is the art I ordered was Michelle Rodriguez with Furiosa's arm.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got it.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that so like that vibe and being able to embrace that sort of like very like progressive, like not booty culture, but like very much in the sort of like sense of like, respect and humanizing people coming into the garage.
I like it.
So I feel like we have like the sort of the melding of the two is that it's this garage story.
I like the garage story.
And the like the garage story has like people who need a break, like who need a mechanic, like their fucking beater car can't, like if they have to spend $400, they're like beyond broke. So of course they come here where they're gonna get a really good deal because like it's sort of thing, but also like it is where car wizards come to chill. But like
car wizards doing charity.
Yeah, car wizards doing charity and like treating people like family.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think that's the vibe. We don't know what the game is, but we have like the story that we want the game to be.
Also, it has like a late summer vibe.
Yeah. Like this legitimately like this is a game in which if you were to LARP it and the LARP allowed for alcohol, you would be drinking Corona.
Yes.
Because that's when I went to go see Fast. When we went to go see Fast 8 with a group of us, we were next to a restaurant that had basically had different Fast and the Furious theme things, and they had Corona on sale, and a bunch of us were like, we have to.
Damn it.
Like we're gonna have to, and like it's not the worst thing to drink. It's not what we prefer, but
I don't like Corona unless you make a michelada with it. Are you familiar with micheladas?
No, I'm not familiar with it. So talk about that.
You Bloody Marys?
Grab some stuff because I can hear you.
What?
I'm gonna grab a thing, but talk about it because I can hear you from here.
Okay, cool. So micheladas are a Mexican take on the Bloody Mary. You actually use something. You use a light Mexican beer, or you use Corona, and you mix it with your Bloody Mary mix, and it's a little more sour, a little more rye-like than a bloody, but it's very good.
I never quite got onto the Bloody Mary train.
Oh, I am the Bloody Mary train.
Okay.
So
here's. Of
course, you have Fast and the Furious dolls.
So yes, I do. I totally do. So I bought these for me. This is Dom's Charger, and this is Brian's Escort. And I have them next to each other so they can race.
So this is the part where I tell you I've never seen a single Fast and the Furious
That's totally
movie.
cool. This is actually why I dig it, because then you have no context for working on this game.
But I like that you can make them race.
Yeah, and then this was my ex-roommate Logan got me this. It's an RC car. I've not taken it out. Mainly because I was like about to move, and so I'm like just leave them in the box, and then I left them in the box the whole time. But that's just the bigger version of his car, and so I have Car Wizard dolls.
I like your Car Wizard dolls.
I also have over there one of my starting collection of Captain Marvel dolls and shit.
Good shit.
And also, I'm getting my Captain Marvel tattoo on Wednesday.
Nice. I like your self heart. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh yeah, so this is my second tattoo.
I like it.
And that was I wanted 2 by the time I was 40. Did I tell you about my philosophy around my tattoos on my arms?
It's picked up quite a bit.
So I mean, the first one is the Ever Forward tattoo, and the idea behind that is that when I started getting this one, I wanted one on the other arm so that when I hug people, I'm hugging them with affirmation.
Yep.
I got that one. I have the mine tattoo right here, which is about like remembering that like I'm mine and I'm not like supposed to be gaslit and shit.
Right.
This is my meeple tattoo, which means you're not alone. And then my 2 Fifth Element tattoos that have like some cursive writing on them. Fucking trying to learn how to do. Oh, fuck it. I'll just say this is the wind tattoo. Fifth Element. That means moments are fleeting, good and bad. You can't capture them.
Right.
And then it has breathe there written down as a reminder to like meditate when I'm having a panic attack, which I have far fewer these days, but still
I'm so proud of you.
And then compassion is on the other one, which is it's the earth one, which is about grounding myself and finding common ground. And then the compassion one is about self-compassion and having compassion for others. And yeah,
have I ever told you how much I hate the term self-compassion, and it's actually nobody's fault except for a shitty therapist?
Do tell if you like.
So when I was 15, I had this therapist. I swear to God, her name was Dr. Vigilante. Just let that soak in.
Fucking life.
I know, right? Talk about high-octane honobono.
I mean, your life and my life together is some shit. That's
it is
LARP we should never run because we play it.
She was a psychologist, not like a counselor, but like had her actual, like, did not have an LCSW, did not have an MSW.
For people who don't know what that means, what does that mean?
So, licensed counselor and social worker and master of social work are both able to be counselors and therapists. But there are some people who have a doctorate in psychology, in which case they use things like the MMPI or the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory Test, and like various tests and specifically things that quantify your mental health. Right. So I had a psychologist when I was 15. Her name was Dr. Vanessa Vigilante. And I don't think she liked me a whole lot.
With a name like that, I'm not surprised.
Because her second visit, she told me that I didn't make enough eye contact with her, so she had pegged me as autistic. Which is a great second thing to say on your second visit. My first visit was with my mom, and my mom was mostly talking with the psychologist at that point, which is why I wasn't really talking or making eye contact, but whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things she started telling me is, you need to do self-compassion. And I'm like, okay, how do I do that? And she's like, I don't know, you need to figure out how to do it for yourself. And then I'd come in with, my crisis of the week, which a better psychologist referred to as cows, or, losing control of your cows.
Oh, I like that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But this therapist would get super mad at me after a while for just bringing in cows and being like, well, we can't just keep doing crisis of the week. We have to address actual issues. And I'm like, but these are my actual issues.
Yeah, it turns out that cows can be part of an actual issue herd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is also the therapist who, when I took the adolescent version of the MMPIA, I had extremely high scores for hypomania, duh, ADHD, fucking duh, anxiety and depression, all of which I have. And then she pointed out that I scored 2% for narcissistic personality disorder at 16. And then decided to focus on that and tell me that me being awkward around people was me thinking I was too good for other people. So I really, really hate the phrase self-compassion, but I accept it from people like you and my new therapist. Oh my god, Stephen Dewey's here.
Woo!
I like Stephen Dewey.
I have heard amazing things about Stephen Dewey.
He's great. I don't know if he's still here, but I just saw it.
No,
so.
I see it there and maybe still. Hi, Stephen Dewey.
We love you, Stephen Dewey.
I don't know you, but I love you.
I'm one of Stephen Dewey's muses, which I kind of adore.
I have heard amazing things about 10 Candles.
Stephen Dewey is still here.
Yeah. Okay, just to be sure. Stephen Dewey is a 10 Candles human, yeah?
Yeah, Stephen Dewey is the 10 Candles human.
Okay, good. I just like I wanted to if I'm gonna fuck up, I want to like apologize on the air, but so far I haven't fucked up in a way that needs an apology yet.
Yep.
So I believe.
That is correct. Stephen Dewey is also putting out an amazing game soon called Gather Children of the Evertree.
Tell me
which story. It is a Model UN set among the folks who live in this giant Yggdrasil tree on different branches of the tree.
What the living shit?
Each of what?
What the living shit? Please go on.
Yes, each of you has a certain number of tokens that you can use to ask other people questions. So people cannot dominate the conversation because they have to spend tokens to answer a question or ask a question. Sorry. And you have to give your tokens to the person you're asking to. So as you ask questions to people, you can give them tokens. And it gets super weird because one of the some of the rules at the beginning, all of the rules are read in character, and it is a card-based LARP. So all of your questions are questions you pick off of this pile of cards. And it's super weird and trippy. And it's just a weird world-building Model UN set in a giant Yggdrasil.
As a mild scholar of Norse mythology, loving weird indie shit. This is like making two girls kiss.
Yeah. So it's not exactly Norse flavored, although it can be.
Yeah, but it's that vibe, right? There's a lot of things that there's a lot of interesting Norse mythos that permeates Western culture.
Yeah.
And that not even just like fucking, Marvel shit, right? But like just in general. And so discounting Marvel shit and discounting fucked up white supremacy, there's still some good shit from Norse mythology that kind of throws.
One of my favorite things about the game is it says in the beginning is that there is no known world beyond the tree. But it doesn't say you can't talk about stuff from beyond the tree. So when I was playing it, I was a representative of a heretic group that lived on one of the farther branches of the tree that found a flower that did not grow on the tree. So there was this whole possibility of what if we are not only tree? Also, there was the Cauldron of the Black Goat, which is run by Lucian Khan, which was great because they asked for dancers for their ceremonial slaughtering of the goat. Like, what did the dancers get? He responded with a portion of the goat.
A free goat.
Yeah. It was real good. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to see the game in print. Also, Ian's game line, The Trinity Continuum, is fucking awesome. And more books are coming out for that, and I'm very excited because I might be able to write on some Trinity stuff.
Nice.
And I finally read the book for, like, the core setting book with the talents.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it was not a superhero game, as I had suspected. Which is very exciting.
What is it then?
So, superhero game conjures up a specific image of, like, capes.
The four-color kind of vibe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this one is more heisty and planny and, like, figuring out smart ways to do shit as opposed to just, like, punching Godzilla.
Figure out a smart way to punch Godzilla.
Yeah. Or don't punch Godzilla and instead get Godzilla on your side.
Yeah. I recently watched the Godzilla movie, the one that just came out.
How was it?
If you like monster drama, it's great. If what you really want is human drama around monsters, why go to a Godzilla movie?
Right.
And so, like, there's a lot of complaint of, like, the human element was really underdeveloped and this and that. It's like, yeah, because they should have gotten more of that out of the way, to be honest, with the monster drama. But because the monsters do not speak a language, you have to have the humans around to basically facilitate the narrative.
Right.
And like in a I think an interesting sense, like there's a bit of a like we're not keeping Godzilla as a pet, Godzilla's keeping us as pets.
Right. I like that.
Is a thing that gets mentioned in like a Senate fucking hearing in the movie or something.
Nice.
And so I'm like, in a lot of ways, I feel like the movie kind of harkened to that some, where it's like really all the human characters that were propelling shit forward are simply Godzilla or other entities' pets.
Yeah.
And their pets are just doing tricks for their giant kaiju masters.
I mean, I like human drama around monsters, but that's also because I like human drama in the face of apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing is that, like, if that's what you like, this is not the movie for that.
Oh, sure.
Because it is not about enduring the apocalypse that is Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
It is about which kaiju are you on the side of?
Right.
And that's a very different story, but because the story is not human versus kaiju, it's kaiju versus kaiju.
Right.
With human versus human there, like there's enough smash in that the interesting part is about, like, for me, is that the humans are the vehicles for discussing the lore of them. So when they're having their personal human drama moments, that is when they are the furthest away from monsters.
Right.
Because they're basically dealing with, like, their human bullshit, which in a disaster movie I think fits. And this is one of those things where it's like half monster fight movie, half disaster movie. And a lot of elements work together. Like, it's not terrible. It's not like get rid of all of the human drama, but I think at times the human drama was meant to serve itself and not serve the kaiju.
Right.
If that sort of thing makes sense. So, like, that is where I kind of, like, sort of fall down on it. But, like, I was with my friend watching it, and she fucking teared up with ones. Like, she's like, oh my god, it's not, like, she's like fucking fanning up the joint with it. And, like, there's a couple bits at the end where she, like, fucking cried. And she, like, turned to me like, just glad I didn't wear eye makeup or it would be all over my face.
Yeah. No, that does not sound like the sort of movie that would hold my interest particularly, because I'm more interested in the human element of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was, and part of the reason I enjoyed it is because I was with somebody who really enjoyed it, right? And I was able to kind of, like, see things from their lens. It's honestly the reason that I like the Fast and the Furious movies, is that a friend of mine kind of pushed that lens in the first place on me, and then I took and ran with it. Like, I didn't actually come up with the term car wizards. My friends Andy and Lucas did.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, that's a really good term. Can I put that in my game? And they're like, oh my God, yes. And then it turned into can I put that in my game to I am this weird canonical source of what a car wizard is.
Yep.
Like I'm Ryan Car Wizard Macklin at this point.
No, you're Rye Car Wizard Macklin.
To you.
Yeah.
To you.
It's true.
Yes. I remember getting on another friend for calling me Rye. I'm like, that sounds horrifying from somebody who is not my internet sister.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we have a sense of like our indie darling that we may or may not do at some point.
Did you ever find that question that we were supposed to answer?
Yes I did. I have it here.
Because we have like a couple minutes left.
Yeah, so we have a couple minutes left, or however long we want to do. But yeah, I'm game too. I've got my my girlfriend here. We're gonna watch Captain Marvel at some point tonight.
Hell yeah, you are.
Yeah. So the question from Dee Dee is, what's the best makeup setup for LARPs? Is that something us folks can answer? And like you LARP and makeup.
So when they say makeup setup, what does that mean?
I have no idea because that's all the question.
Okay, well you tell me what you think it means, and then I'll answer it that way.
Okay. Well, let's go with a setup that is. So if we think about LARPs on location. So what sort of setup do you have for being able to do makeup on location, like say at a convention, and you do not have a lot of time because you just got out of like one event or out of dinner?
Okay, so what I'm going to recommend, although most of our watchers probably can't afford her because she's amazing, is a makeup artist who does the makeup for Learn LARP,
Okay.
which is they do New World Magical, etc. And their makeup artist is named Tall Cat McConnell.
Okay.
And she can do basically anything at a moment's notice. She is a professional FX artist, so she brings her airbrushes and her glamour makeup and whatnot, and is fucking incredible. But if you do not have access to a tall cat, which you likely don't, I recommend the following. Do not buy a makeup bag for your makeup. If you plan on bringing a whole lot of makeup, buy a fucking toolbox. I'm not joking. I store all of my makeup in a like 7-gallon I don't even remember the brand anymore. But a 7-gallon super mask toolbox, and it was really funny because when I was moving to my house, my friend who also has one of these toolboxes looked at that and went, "What's in there?" And I showed him it. And he's like, "Wow, I use these toolbox when I want to feel super masculine and manly, and you just put makeup in it. That's awesome."
Yeah. I actually I'm gonna take that idea now because
yeah.
I always when I'm packing shit in my makeup bag and I go to an event, I'm always missing like one fucking thing.
Yep. Get a toolbox. If you're traveling, get a tackle box. Like, I also, when I'm going to LARPs at conventions, I always like plan out a certain amount of makeup for each session. So like, okay, I'm gonna need this here. I'm gonna need this shade of eyeshadow here. I'm gonna need this shade of eyeshadow here. I'm gonna need concealer for this LARP, but I'm not gonna need it for this LARP. Always have those fucking, those Neutrogena wipes that come in the blue bag. Those are a fucking godsend. Also, Micellar Water. It's like a mineral water type thing. You can get it at any drugstore.
Okay.
But basically, it's a water that you can put on a cloth and it will take makeup off because of what's in it.
Oh, nice.
It's not potable, so don't try and drink it.
No,
especially
but after you take the makeup off.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But also, if you're having to switch your eyeshadow or anything you need primer for, don't wear primer. You can use like a lock-in spray, like Urban Decay's makeup spray is fucking aces.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of setting spray.
Yeah. You can use setting spray, but don't use primer because primer is going to make it much more difficult to take off any eyeshadow. Setting spray, not a problem.
Okay. That's what you say to do if basically you're hot swapping a lot of looks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, get those little wedge sponges.
Yeah.
like you're not going to have time to bring all your best makeup shit to a convention, almost certainly. So if you need to blend stuff and apply stuff real fast, get the wedge sponges, get a good eyeshadow brush, and get some setting spray.
Nice.
Also, don't wear liquid eyeliner at a con. You will almost certainly spill it.
Yeah, I think I only play with, as far as the eyeliner I do is like the felt pen eyeliner.
Yep. I can't do felt pen because it bleeds all over my eye because my hands are twitchy. So I actually use eyeliner crayons.
I have to play around with more like crayons and pencils. I have shaky hands, but I end up being it's either I'm slow. I can't tell if I'm slow enough or I'm quick enough that it's not affecting it very much.
Right.
But like also like I'm like, oh, well, this is gonna be a thicker line on both sides this time, like always, because I try for a thin line and fuck it up every time.
Yeah, I just use a crayon because you don't need a sharpener. You can basically just twist it like a mechanical pencil, and they're easy to replace. Also, I've discovered the wonders of white eyeliner for looking spooky as hell.
Really?
Yeah, because you can put white eyeliner on the inside of your eyes.
Okay.
Here. And it will actually make your eyes look bigger and paler at the same time.
What was that like? Is that another eyeliner pencil you've got?
Yeah, I have an eyeliner crayon that is just white
crayon,
eyeliner.
Do you then do eyeliner crayon on the wet line? Okay, that's the one thing that like I have a gel pod, which I was using on the under wet line.
Yeah. No, I do white line if I'm doing like a particularly spooky look. Like if you've seen my vampire looks on Facebook for the current vampire, I always do white liner on the wet line, and then I do a darker or more vibrant eyeshadow to just sort of be disconcerting.
Disconcerting is a look that you do pretty well.
Thanks. I try.
Yeah. Yeah, like you've got that like disconcerting Lolita vibe.
I try.
Yeah.
I really do. Like for my last vampire look, I did white liner on the wet line, and then I did on the bottom wet line, but I didn't do any liner up top, and then I just did red under my eyes and a little bit on the lid.
Yeah, okay. I could see. Huh. I
also did.
I might have seen that recently. I'm trying to remember if I have seen it or if I'm just imagining your face in that.
It's in my recent photos.
Okay, it's probably then that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool. Well, I think that's probably it for this hour.
Yeah, but we can do another hour at some point.
We should totally do another hour at some point. We can be exuberant.
More exuberant, and we can also probably advertise more.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this one was, I don't know. I'll fucking try to figure out how this tech works.
It's okay. We'll do it better next time.
Yeah,
good.
We did it live this time. We'll do it live in the future. All right, cool. Well, say goodbye, Ian and Steven.
Steven Dewey.
Steven Dewey. I'm sorry, I'm not in character, I guess, or feeling.
No, you gotta see it. I keep trying to call him Steve or Steven. I can't do it. It's just Steven Dewey.
You know what? Then so yeah, like and other people who watch this, and possibly this might be posted as an archive thing. I don't fucking know anymore. It's YouTube weird.
We love you.
Love you. Mwah.
Mwah.